It's
in Europe?
That I don't know.
You really?
I mean, I can't say. I don't, and I really, I don't know. And
you don't know, or you can't say?
I can't say. Yeah.
So you do know?
Hold on. Sorry.
By September 2006, the White House was forced to admit key al-Qaeda suspects had been held in secret prisons abroad. But where? The president still wouldn't say.
A small number of suspected terrorist leaders and operatives captured during the war have been held and questioned outside the United States in a separate program operated by the Central Intelligence Agency. Many specifics of this program, including where these detainees have been held and the details of their confinement, cannot be divulged.
They were, he said, the worst of the worst. 14 notorious al-Qaeda terrorists, among them the architect of 9/11, Osama bin Laden's closest aide, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, or KSM.
During questioning, KSM told us about another al-Qaeda operative he knew was in CIA custody, a terrorist named Majid Khan.
Who? Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was a household name. But who was Majid Khan? It was a shock to Mahmoud Khan in Baltimore to hear the name on the president's lips. There in the company of the worst was his little brother Majid.
He was a very fun-going young teenager. We had old friends, had everything that teenagers do, liked cars, music, clean, very, very clean record. Did not even get a single traffic violation than anything else. Very excellent student. He actually worked for the state of Maryland with high clearance. So he was giving a full check.
Majid Khan, the A student from Baltimore, had been missing since 2003. Just married, he'd gone to Pakistan to visit his wife. Early one morning, neighbors said, unidentified men came to the house.
Instead of asking any questions, they started hooding everybody and cuffing everybody, and before you know it, they were all taken away. They all disappeared overnight. We were very, very worried about it, what happened, how it happened, who took them, and we had no information at all.
A terrorist named Majid Khan.
And the next time we heard his name was when the President of the United States, President Bush, was giving details on television about the top 14 detainees that were released from secret prisons of the CIA.
Terrorist or saint, it was now clear that Majid had been held in one of the CIA's secret prisons. But where? Uzbekistan? Morocco? Poland?
Well, I have the letters here in which he tried to explain that what happened to him, and as you see up here is the only point you see, and this is the point after that you see in the end. It says in this letter, I am going to mention some of the things I have been through, and they stop right there where he gets to tell us what happened to him. It is completely censored by the government to the point it is unrecognizable.
So we filed a petition for cert.
Innocent or guilty, his little brother Majid would need a lawyer, but she has yet to see her client.
We have not been able to meet with him. We have not been able to communicate with him at all, because it is the position of the United States that even though he has a lawyer, we can't meet with him because he might actually tell us where he was held or what kinds of interrogation tactics were used against him in secret CIA detention. In the United States, the law actually expressly prohibits government officials from classifying information and preventing it from coming to public light in order to protect conduct that may embarrass the government or in order to protect illegal conduct. And in the case of Majid Khan, that's precisely what's happening.
And that's precisely what's exasperating the White House press corps.
What is it that the Uzbekis can do in interrogations that the United States of America can't?
Well, first of all, if you're asking me to talk about specific intelligence matters, you know that I'm not going to do that. But
in general,
our
what is
understanding-
it that this country, the most advanced in national security matters of any country in the world, cannot accomplish in interrogations that the
Again-
nation of Uzbekistan can?
Again, you're asking me to get into specific matters, and I'm not going to do
general.
that because of the classified nature of our intelligence.
The standard answer, but even the president seemed to choke on it.
Can you explain why you've approved of and expanded the practice of what's called rendition, of transferring individuals out of U.S. custody to countries where human rights groups and your own State Department say torture is common for people in custody?
Post 9/11 world, the United States must make sure we protect our people and our friends from attack.
So, more torture for Binyam Mohammed, the British resident from Kensal Rise, who'd been arrested in Karachi for travelling on his friend's passport after visiting Afghanistan. His brother, the doctor, has his account.
I was transferred to the torture zone, which is different from the reception zone.
His is one of the few detailed testimonies to have come through the wall of censorship in Guantanamo. Binyam Mohammed's account is unequivocal. 2 extraordinary renditions, one to Morocco, one to Afghanistan, with severe psychological and physical torture in both.
After several weeks, they changed to cutting my body with razors and pouring salt solution, which burned like hell. They cut all over my body, including my private parts, saying that it were better just to cut it off, as I would only breed terrorists.
The United States does not permit,
This country does not believe in torture.
tolerate,
We do not condone torture.
or condone torture
We don't believe in torture.
under any circumstances.
We do not torture.
We do believe in protecting ourselves.
Your government has said repeatedly, we do not torture. We do not send people to be tortured.
Right.
That's a lie, isn't it?
You know, I can't comment on it, but I don't. You know, it's a tricky. It's not a tricky question. They don't send. They shouldn't send people to be tortured. If they did, it's wrong, and that has to be brought out. And I don't know of any specific case where someone said, you know, send this person there to be tortured.
Tricky question. I don't think so, and nor does Canada.
Canada is launching an official protest against the United States over the Meher Arar case.
Meher Arar, the Syrian-born Canadian arrested in New York 4 years ago, accused of links to terrorism, deported to Syria and tortured, exonerated fully this year after a lengthy inquiry back in Canada.
It's no secret that Meher Arar was tortured in Syria and that he was rendered there from the United States, stopping en route in Rome on Mr. Drumheller's watch.
I cannot begin to tell you how important it is today that the government of Canada and the Prime Minister have acknowledged my innocence. The struggle to clear my name has been long and hard.
Thanks to his wife, Arar was freed. The Canadians acknowledge they gave the CIA false intelligence against him, a blunder now costing their taxpayer 11 million Canadian dollars, a lot considering Canada's minor role.
What I would like to see is obviously the United States government come clean with its version of events, to acknowledge, I would hope to acknowledge the deficiencies and the inappropriate conduct that occurred in this case.
Washington has refused. The day after this landmark payout in Canada, the Americans are treating it as a non-event.
Well, in Canada, it's a big story. It's front page news in every paper. But here, south of the border, tucked away on page 14.
Far from compensating Maher Arar, the US has banned him from entering America, insisting he's still a terrorist suspect. But they won't say why, on what grounds. That too is classified. So now he's suing them and hopes to make them pay.
Yeah, I don't think the U.S. government will have to pay.
So sending him to Syria, where he was tortured and imprisoned without any kind of explanation for 10 months,